Hello, and thank you for stopping by another one of my high Capa pull down videos. In this video I'm going to be going over the Golden Eagle 3340, which I did a bit of an unboxing and a strip down of in my last video. In this video it's going to be focused a bit more on what's actually inside it. Now I've had a go at doing some upgrades to it, what I found on my upgrade journey, about how good these actually are as a Tokyo Marui clone. In my last video, I finished the video by saying that if you are a general skirmisher, stick to a Tokyo Marui, and if you want to have a bit of a play with these things, if you're a bit of a high Capa modder and you want to get your fingers into it, you know, go into them. I'll save you watching the entire video. I'm going to stick by that advice. My advice is still stick with a standard Marui if you're just a skirmisher and you don't want to muck about. If you do want to muck about, then these things are pretty good to have a muck about with because nothing actually works easily. So, quick recap. This is the Golden Eagle 3340 high Capa replica. It's a very close replica to the Tokyo Marui 5.1 high Capa, only these things out of the box for $99.99 come with a load of bling. What can I say though? The bling unfortunately is just cosmetics. The innards aren't great, as we're going to dive into right now, and there are some weird fitment issues. So we're going to kick straight off. I'm going to go with the lower half here. Now, I personally don't really do too much work on the back ends of high Capas, what I call the lower half really. I like buying Tokyo Marui because this bit just generally works, and I try and buy ones which I like the look of, and then I don't have to muck about with this bit. I can just play about with the top bit that people are actually bothered about. So far this bit hasn't let me down. It's taken a variety of magazines. It's taken its own magazine. It's taken Tokyo Marui magazine. It's taken a Wii HPA tap magazine, and it has taken my HPA adapter magazine absolutely phenomenally. So quite happy about that. There is a bit of a weird fitment, but I think that's more down to the fact that I'm just not used to a normal Tokyo Marui. So first thing to be aware of with one of these things is if you're going to fit a slide to it, any aftermarket slide other than the one it comes with, you are going to have some problems. An example, this is the original plastic slide off of my Tokyo Marui Gold Match. Now, inside the Gold Match, they come with a little metal strengthening bar, which you should just be able to see there. That metal strengthening bar cannot stay in place if you are going to fit it onto here. It gets stuck. Won't go because of that metal strengthening bar. Gets stuck in both directions. The next thing you are going to want to have to do with any Marui spec slide that you want to fit on this is you are going to have to file away the wings here and here. On a standard slide, they have two wings either side which just slightly stick out at the back. The Golden Eagle slide does not have those wings at the back and at the side, so your slide will ultimately get stuck there. On this, I have filed them off just to check what the fitment was like, and when you file them off, it fits beautifully. I have removed said metal bar and it slides on lovely. I have tried the Gold Infinity slide which I have, and that fits right the way up beautifully until I get to those two little wings, at which point I'm not filing those off because that won't be ending up on this particular lower. There is another thing to be aware of, and that is the fitment of the frame. I am semi-convinced it's slightly smaller that way and that way than what a TM is. the Golden Eagle slide rattles about a bit. It's not a tight fit by any means. My Marui slide rattles about a little bit. It's a bit of a dink when it's on there. When I offered up my Infinity slide, so I slid it on and I got it about as far as here, I turned it and I just checked the fitment, and there was a tiny bit of wobble, both horizontally and vertically, which is okay. When you're in shooting position, you're not going to feel or hear that rattle. However, when you turn the weapon over in your hand slowly, because I like to make sure that things are tight, you could hear it clunk, clunk, as it moved from rail to rail. So that's something to be aware of with the bottom half. Other than that, I can't fault that. On to the next part. So at this point, slides off, and we're going to start taking the slide down. So I'll start with my gripes about the slide. So gripe number one is the slide doesn't have those funny wingy things, so the lower doesn't, so they're a bit of a pig to fit. That's just life. Gripe number two, probably a big one for a lot of you high Capa guys out there who like to run fancy guide plugs. Now, how can a guide plug not fit, not work? Well, I will show you. This is the guide plug I got with my Infinity slide. Don't fit. The fit is so tight, it just won't go in. Now, I don't doubt a little bit of filing off all the way around on this captive piece here, it would probably go in. I can't be bothered to do that though. It should fit. If you are a Marui clone, it should fit. And it doesn't. So, next stage along with my upgrading was the front sight. A very easy one. I swapped the cheap shite plastic for a proper little bit of green fibre. That swapped out nicely. And then as we come towards the back of the slide, the sights. Now the sights are a combination gripe between the slide and the BBU. And that is that when you look inside, there we go. Let's struggle for light. There we go. So inside there are two little legs which stop the entire slide from pushing over too far. So it's kind of like a backstop, so you can never actually push the slide past where it's meant to be, which is great. However, the Marui doesn't have that. The Marui has a nice solid bar. And on the Marui, watch the transition here. On the Marui, that bar sits into your BBU, and when they're on, it sits nicely down into that channel. Just there. And it kind of acts as a bit of a stop for that spring, which is nice. Everybody's happy at that point. The Golden Eagle sights don't do that. The Golden Eagle sight kind of hovers above where it needs to be. Hovers above it. That means you have to use this big, heavy steel rear sight. And I don't like that. It's big, it's heavy, it's adding weight to this thing. When I had this off, which I needed a punch to get it off, it was heavy. It was a lot of grammage compared to my standard plastic one. Not cool. I don't want to run that. So the next part, really, I mean, to be fair, it's a gripe against the entire slide. And I'm probably going to regret saying it at some point in the future. But the next part of that is your BBU. So this BBU is marginally smaller than what a Marui one is. It seals great. The seal on it is absolutely fantastic. The spring it comes with is absolutely awful. you can hear it, you can feel how bad it is, it's curved in all directions, but when it sits in up inside that slide, nice and snug. And that spring doesn't move. Whereas on a Marui, you need that sight on top just to sit it there, just so that the spring, when it compresses, doesn't go flying out and everywhere. It just kind of leans against it, hence that long bar there. So your BBU fitment is different. I tried the Marui BBU in here. It fitted with a good hard push with a Marui nozzle spring, and I got about 4 shots off before I got a light strike. Then I had to rack it, shoot again, light strike, rack it, and you could actually see the slide wasn't going all the way back into battery. When you pushed it back into battery, pull the trigger, jammed a BB, and it jammed the BB by folding the feed lip over and having the BB trap behind it. So you have to use the Golden Eagle BBU, which causes a problem, because what I wanted to do with this slide was I wanted to get a lightweight BBU and stick that in there with some lightweight sights. I was going to have a very lightweight, I was going to run this as kind of like an outdoor lightweight build, and then use my Infinity build as like an indoor CQB thing. So at that point, I can kind of feel my vision starting to ebb away. Nozzle fitments are fine. The Marui nozzle fits on here without too many problems. Likewise, it goes on the Marui. There's a little bit of wobble. You're talking, less than half a mil. Probably a good lick of oil would probably sort it. This needed a good oil as I took it out, and it's really tidied up quite nicely. On to the next point. What was the next thing I had beef with? Outer barrels. So, outer barrel. The outer barrel which came with it is still utter garbage. Cheap shit and garbage. Doesn't stay in place. The only thing it's good for is holding your inner barrel while they ship it. So I swapped it. Swapped it with a silver Marui plastic one, because why not? Because Marui is the one you want. Marui fit, Marui clone. I thought all would be good. Now this is better. Definitely better. It fits in the Golden Eagle slide better. There is a but coming. The hop up that you get is complete and utter rubbish. It's just rubbish. I nearly swore. I didn't want to swear because I don't want to seem like I'm overemphasizing. It's awful. I don't know if you'll be able to see there, but it doesn't close. The hop on itself is slightly on the offset. I want to say it's on the piss. Slightly off. It's pinching the hop rubber there, and when you look down the barrel, the hop rubber isn't round. It's kind of egged, kind of like that. So you've got this kind of smooth circular at the top, and then it eggs down at the bottom. Now I understand that that's where the loading nozzle comes up, so it's probably not the end of the world that it's like that, but I want to see a perfect round circle when I look in there. The hop unit is nasty. The only thing on it which is actually worth it is the wheel. The wheel's okay, it moves. It's not overly hard to move. This is the first high Capa build I've ever had with a 1911 style hop, with the pin there which locks itself into the back of the guide rod. I will tell you now, I'm fitting a replacement. This is a maple leaf hop chamber, so it's definitely not the best on the market. It's cheap, and I've got one lying about. This one's not mine. Mine's in a box. But I've used this one just for kind of an artist's impression of where it's going to be. This one is just a maple leaf hop with a Marui wheel, which is tight in there, and a Marui arm, which is great. That's exactly what I want. It's a nice tight fit. And I know that it will hold my hop rubbers perfectly circular. Which brings me on to another gripe. For me, when I install a hop unit, it needs to go back, it needs to sit, and it needs to be nice and snug. It's not. The fit is awful, it wobbles all over, it rocks about, it's terrible. That fitment is awful. It's just shocking. It's really, really bad. However, the maple leaf tiniest bit of play ever. In fact, hooks in really well. So the maple leaf hop unit actually fits the Golden Eagle frame better. On this particular build, I am running a 120% recoil spring on the Golden Eagle guide rod because I just don't have a black one. I gave my black one away to the same guy who's having that. Stupid me. I've got a couple of recoil buffers just, again, lying about that I made a cow set go through 3 guns. So that's pretty cool. So that was £11 very well spent. So I've got my recoil buffs on there just to short stroke it a little bit, nothing too extreme, and a 120 spring. So overall, this should be a really, really good build. So the idea was lightweight sights on here, take all the weight out of it. Tested a Marui BBU because then I would have got the fitment, and if it would have fitted perfectly, I'd have gone for a lightweight unit, but it doesn't, so that's on the back burner. Outer barrel, not the best fit. It fits. It's less clanky than the standard crap. Guide rod plug. I'd got the silver. The silver was going to go in because the silver was going to match up with that, but it doesn't fit. So I've gone to that. Stuck with the original. And then as far as my barrel set goes, it was going to be this hop up. I was really excited about having a hop up with a pin thing to hold my recoil rod still. This is the Pdi Palsinite Barrel. I wasn't too sure about running this barrel, if I'm honest. Read some horror stories about the finishing coming off, and it is coming off at a great rate of knots. I put 8 swabs through it and it was still coming off. However, it is lovely and clean and smooth up the middle, so that's what matters. I have a Pdi W hold rubber in there because I never intended to use an I key or anything oval. It was just going to be the 2 punch down, so I thought W hold, split, bang, BB, perfect. This hop unit has destroyed all of those aspirations. So that almost brings me to the end of it. The last gripe I have with the entire gun, really, which is more of a kick in the bollocks, but I don't really care too much, and that's the outer barrel, which is absolute horse manure, and you wouldn't want to use it anyway. However, those of you who are looking at buying one of these and who are thinking, this might make a good CQB gun, I'll stick my tracer on there because for a factory outer, it's threaded. It's threaded. This is an 11 to 14mm adapter. So this is 11mm. This is what you get on your Ace Tech lighters. This is what you get with your X Core-Tech 301s. This is what most people go for. Oh. It's a 12mm thread. So if you had your tracer in there, the first time you point the gun down, you've got a very expensive mess. So there we have it. The gun is awkward to put together because of the way this guide rod sits. Even with 2 recoil buffers, because of that stupid pin, I have to have the BBU out to get that lot in, and then at which point you've got to do the squeezy up the narrow slide thing, which doesn't work very well because it's cheap metal. It's going to grind the crap out of everything it comes into contact with. It's just not working. So, verdict, what do we do with it? If you're going to pick up one of these, pick it up for this bit. And then spend a lot of money on an expensive slide, and then file the hell out of it to get it to fit. And then it'll be a little bit loose. In hindsight, if you are going to buy it to mod onto it, do not think it's going to be the perfect base. It's not. I would probably say now that the money that I spent on this, 100 quid, would have probably been better pushed towards a Marui, at which point then I wouldn't have made 2 going on 3 YouTube videos about how bloody awful and incompatible it is. It is a Marui clone, it does fit Marui parts, but they're just not as good a fit as what it would have been had I gone for a Marui base. Which, I'm not stupid, it is to be expected even. However, there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and my light is as follows. I am going to do a 3D printed slide. I'm going to do a plastic top end, whether that's sights, BBU, slide, guide, rod, plug, as much as I can. I'm going to do plastic and sit it on this, because plastic naturally comes with slightly tighter tolerances, so it will get rid of that wobble that little bit better for me. So that's where this is going to go. It's going to become a plastic build, if you like. I'm going to sit this to one side. I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to take it out next time I go out. I'm going to have take a few shots with it, because you've got to. But then it's going to get put to one side, and then it will become the plastic little to no recoil build. I've been after doing one of those for a while, and that's where it's going to go. So, as always, if you've got any questions about my Golden Eagle 3340, the parts I've used, or if you want to find out if any other parts, which I may have here, will fit on anything else, they won't, please drop a comment. If you like my video of me tearing this thing apart and ripping the shit out of it and expecting more from a £99 gun, please leave a comment. If you liked it, leave a like, and otherwise please do subscribe to me, as I am shortly going to be going through my Gucci high Capa, which has got some pretty nice parts, and I'm not going to be taking the piss out of it all the way through the video. I'm going to be telling you how awesome it is. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time watching this. A little bit shorter than the others, and keep an eye out for the next one.